known for many, many years, runs Pugdundee Safari, managing director of Pugdundee Safaris, and he's going to talk us through what he's been up to over the last 20 years and the power of green, the power of using sustainability as part of his business model. So I hope it'll be interesting. And Manav, over to you, my friend.
Thank you, Julian, for giving me this opportunity. Ritu, can you give me the option for sharing the screen?
Yeah, you already have it, Manav.
Yeah. Okay.
Manav, you're able to get it?
Yeah, are you able to see the screen?
Not really. We're not able to see the screen right now.
Okay. How are we doing?
The screen is open and.
Okay. Do you want to shut down again and try and load it up again? It's obviously not getting through to us.
If you look on the panel above, there is a green button, share content.
Ah, there we go. Yep, I think we're starting. There we go.
I don't do this very often, so.
Good, thank you, Manav. We're off.
So I'll just give you a small background. We currently have 6 lodges. So 2 at Bandhavgarh, 1 in Panna, Pech, Kana, Satpura. And I'm glad to see a lot of known people in the presentation, and many of them have also been to the lodges. And we are also working in Tadoba. We had wanted to open it in October 2020, but because of COVID, this is going to take some time. And now we are aiming to open it in October 2021. The property is completely ready. In terms, the civil work is ready. So we are wanting to now start interiors and landscaping and open it for guests from October 2021. So this is now coming to the topic of the session. So the approach for sustainable tourism for us, till we started in about 2007. So it was more out of initiative, out of passion, out of limited practices. So in 2012, we got our first conservation policy in, where we were covering 5 C's, which was customer, conservation, commitment, community, and construction. But Julian asked me a question, what you did in COVID. So we've actually worked hard in the COVID period and now have adopted the internationally accepted sustainable tourism policy, which is basically environment, social, and governance, which is ESG, which is how it is internationally known as for business enterprises. So which now covers 9 C's, and all of them are actually interrelated. So you cannot remove one. So the carbon is related to construction, construction is related to conservation, and so on. So we are glad that we have moved and we are working towards it, and it's going to be fully in place by the end of 2020. So I'll take you through this to all the 9 C's. So the first one is environment, which basically covers construction, carbon, and conservation. So this is an example of construction we've been doing. So this looks like a simple cottage. But what happens is how we use the material, how we use natural light, how we use the sun rays, how we use manpower makes a major impact. So in this one, we've used large overhangs, and because fortunately in Madhya Pradesh, we all have large land holdings, and we can do the sun plotting and actually make the cottage where we keep the hot sun of the day out, but let the light come in the mornings and the evenings, so which minimizes the use of heating, cooling, and other lightings. So this is a good example, but we've also done bad stuff. We did a cottage where we kept the south window completely open. So I'll just relate some examples. So we typically use 1.5 ton of air conditioning in every cottage. So because the window in south was open, so it started heating up, and eventually we had to replace it with 2.5 ton of air conditioning. We had to put in heavier blinds. So construction plays a major role in how you're constructing for sustainability, which is one of the important part of the environment. So this is a new project which is coming up in Tadoba. So here we have taken up a lot of care, because while we were here scouting for land, I realized that that Tadoba gets really hot. It is one of the hottest places in the country. Temperatures go up to about 48 degrees, 49 degrees. And I happened to stay in one of the places, and the hotel was so hot. And I asked the manager, he says, we have 2 tons of air conditioning, but we can't do anything. You have to wait till evening, till the weather cools down. So that's the time when we thought, we need to do something to solve this, rather than, simple ways to put 2 air conditioning and increase your power bills. So we got in a sustainable architecture firm, and we are building this complete with sun-dried adobe bricks. So these bricks are made on site, and they're made of mud. So you don't burn these bricks. So the advantage is that you're not emitting any carbon because you're not burning. Your lead for getting the material is 0, because you're making these bricks on ground. And because they're made with earth, they're made with mud, they have a cooling effect, which is not the case with concrete. On the right, the images of a vault roof. So this is a typical, this is just like a normal earthen teacup or a tea glass. This has about a 3-inch vacuum in between. So this is how it looks, so it creates a nice insulation. And instead of the typical 4 to 5 inch of concrete, which you do in an RCC roof, you pour in just about 1 inch of concrete, which you can see on the image on the left bottom. And on the right is how it looks from inside. So we've done some studies, and it shows that the ambient temperature is about 6 to 7 degrees lower than normal construction, which obviously at the end of the month reflects in your power bills, which is one of the top 3 expenses in the hotel industry. It also looks good. It also makes the guest feel much more comfortable. So this is the actual site image where work is on. You can see the roof on top and the bricks on the walls. So moving to the next C of environment, which is conservation. So here are some images, Google images from 2007 and now. Actually, it's about 3 years old. You can see the rewilding which has happened. So we've just let the rootstock come back by protecting it, and we've supplemented it with local species. So this has become an extended part of the national park. So if all of us were to do that across all the lodges, we could add a lot of forest area. This is 17 acres of wilderness, which has been regenerated back. This is another one. This is from Bandhavgarh, and you can see the difference which has come, and also the development which has come. On the right image, you can see a concrete road which has come, which leads to the Rancha village now. So fortunately for us now, the lodges have a lot of resident smaller mammals. On the left is a breeding family of jackals, and a lot of big mammals also, which are visiting, which are also staying over in close season. On the right is sloth bear. There are actually 3 in that. So this is tree house. They're walking on the main trail towards the dining. So moving on to the next C, which is carbon. So we have been focusing on reducing our carbon footprint. So one of the important things is reducing your carbon towards ingredients. One of them is vegetables. So today, most of our vegetables is sourced from our vegetable gardens, or from the villages which are around, or from local suppliers, which helps in reducing. There is no point in flying in sushi and caviar and kiwis from across the world and creating luxury out of it. So a few years back, we stopped giving away plastic bottles. There was a lot of resistance even from our team that the guest asked for it. And fortunately, we've had great success with it. And we've done a rough calculation. In the last 3 years, we've saved over 100,000 plastic bottles. Just on about 25% occupancy, with 5 bottles, 5 liters per day, you need about 10,000 bottles every year. And this has got us great feedback. A lot of guests have written back to us saying that, you know, the bottle is sitting on my table, it's on my bedside, it's part of me wherever I go. You know, it reminds me of the great holiday I had in Bandhavgarh or Kana. And a few of them actually wrote back that this is the best hip flask I have. So we've also done away with all the toiletries, the single-use toiletries, because that actually the smaller plastic is worse, because you know, you have little shampoo left or little soap left, which is of no use to anyone. For the first few times you give it to your team, after that they also don't need it, and the rat collectors don't need it because you know, it's polluted. There is deteriorating chemicals in it. So we've saved lakhs of bottle by changing it to. So we've also done. These are a few examples of the changes we've done. We've moved to greener straws. We've moved to bamboo-made earbuds. You know, a lot of people even ask, you know, why bother about such small things? Because we all probably know about the turtle which got the straw and which caused a campaign to ban straws in the world. So the smaller the plastic is, the worse it is, because it cannot go for recycling. Some more example of the changes. We've also done away with single-use coffee sachets and milk sachets. Actually, it turns out to be better. It turns out to be cheaper, also fresher, better coffee. These are some bags which we use for a nature shop for packing, sending lunch boxes. These are made by self-help group from Painch actually. So we've also converted our breakfast on safaris to be plastic free. Even if when you go today, you will be surprised to see the amount of Tetra Pak which is there, which is for some reason has become a part of the safari breakfast. So we've moved that and we've started packing fresh iced tea and fresh lemonade, depending on what the need is. And there is no plastic packaging. There is no aluminum in this packaging. This is plant-based food packaging. This is used for carry away. This is made out of sugarcane waste, bagasse. So these are the sippers which we've introduced, and actually we've saved about 30,000 Tetra Packs in the last 3 years. It also makes business sense because one Tetra Pack today is costing about 15 rupees. And when you make fresh tea, iced tea or fresh lemonade, is probably a couple of bucks. This is on the right is the image for leaf composting. So we are collecting all our leaf and turning it around on a weekly basis. And at the end of 2 to 3 months, it gives you good compost for your garden. And on the left is the image of where your food compost, your kitchen waste the green waste is going. So coming on to social management, which is the other main category. So this is a broad category which is covering, which is everything associated with people, which is divided into community, customer, and collaboration. So, you know, there is a lot of talk about how much percent locals you have, how much employment you're generating for the locals. Even the government is talking about, even a lot of audits talk about it. But I feel we are trying to solve the wrong problem, because what we've seen at many of the parks, they don't even want the jobs, because it's easy to hire people today in Bandhavgarh or Kana, but if you were to do that in Tadoba or in Satpura, it's very difficult because the needs of the people are very different. So we feel what is more important is actually ensuring that you do capacity building, you train the team, and you get them in the mainstream. So we are happy that many of our boys who started with us in constructing are actually running lodges, they're leading groups, they are interacting with guests. So we've achieved this by annual training, which we have in the month of September. Then we have regular chef training, which goes on continuously. We are doing a monthly COVID-19 training, and we've done a lot of other training like team building, special skill training. So again, these are some of the community projects we are doing. So we also started with appeasement and giving away bags and gifts and once in a while visit, but we've now graduated to doing something which is regular, which is more systematic, so that you can see the benefits of it after a few years. So all the naturalists have a monthly roster where they go regularly to the school, and on special occasions like Children's Day, Salim Ali Day, and they speak to the local coordinator, and they do sessions for environment, for bird watching. We've also appointed a full-time teacher at Kana. So a few years back, we've also introduced naturalist training program, which is serving the final C for our social section. So we've got two programs, which is one is ProNat, which is a 24-day program, and we've got ANAT, which is a 6-day program. And both have had exceptional feedback, and both the programs are doing really well. We have one starting on 22nd of November. It was postponed from August to November. And this is open for enthusiasts, and it is priced very reasonably so that everyone can afford it. For the customer, we've also introduced low carbon footprint experiences like camping and walking trails in Satpura, cycling from Page to Kana, which few of you have been part of. So I tell this to my team also, we have this great opportunity where we actually have hijacked the guest for 3 to 4 days with us in the jungle. And we should not lose this opportunity to convert a regular guest into an ambassador for wildlife and conservation. We've seen over the years hundreds of guests who've just come back again and again, have turned into avid bird watchers, are staunch supporters of conservation. They go back, they're the spokesperson for our enterprise, they're the spokesperson for conservation, for wildlife. So we should all utilize this time, because time is premium, and you have them for 3 to 4 days with you at your lodge. So this is the collaboration with communities. So unlike mining or big industries where you need a social license to operate, we do not need a social license to operate because our enterprises are small. But I must say that social license to operate is really unlike any other license which you get once, like your building permission and you're done with. Social license to operate is something which you need to work on, you need to renew every day. This is the license which has been given to you by the community who actually owns that habitat, who have the first right on the forest. So this collaboration with the community, it need not be based on just on employment. Employment should not be a mandate for any of us. It should be a priority. The first priority should always go to them. First priority for local procurement, first priority for other opportunities. And this is how we will be able to keep our social license to operate going on forever. So we've also worked on the local supply chain, and happy to share that about 70% of our produce is sourced locally. So again, there is a lot of contest around what is local. Going by the constitution, the fundamental right for us, India is local. But here, when we say local, we've defined it to the district. So 70% of the resources are sourced locally. So this is the last bit of the wheel, which is governance. So governance is something which runs the first two aspects of this, of sustainability. The first two aspects of environment and social are governed. Because if you're not governing them, then it's not going to move ahead. So some of the commitments which we have done to sustainability is that we have updated our sustainable tourism policy, which has those 9 C's and under those 3 broad categories. And the tourism policy, the sustainable tourism policy and sustainability is now part of the standard operating procedures. It's no more at the whims and fancies of someone that if a manager goes and the new one comes, it's not happening. It's no more like that. It's part of the daily process with us. So the managers are now directly responsible for sustainability as they are responsible for housekeeping, for guest relationship, for food. They are direct. So the monthly reporting, which shares with the salary sheet, the cost sheets, the issues, also has a sustainability report, which is completed every month, which includes organic garden, which includes composting, which includes recycling, which includes the events which have been done locally. So to take our commitment forward, 2 years back, we launched this logo, green over plastic. This is our logo to fight plastic. So during COVID, we've also taken this new initiative. All the lodges, we do a lot of checklists on birds, mammals, but what we've done, we've introduced our first biodiversity assessment and a carbon footprint assessment. The preliminary reports have already come in from the lodges. So with this data which is coming in, we can do an annual comparison. Are we actually improving the habitat or are we destroying the habitat? Or we are just seeing numbers, I saw 200 birds or I saw 250 birds. Is there a positive impact we are making or is there a negative impact? Because tourism has had a lot of flack. So we thought we must do a report on how we are doing ourselves. So we are also calculating our carbon footprint, and going forward in 2021, we are hoping to offer guests how to offset the carbon footprint of their holiday. Besides, obviously, our effort is going to be minimizing the carbon footprint. So continuous improvement is part of the process, is part of the governance. For this season, we've also launched QR codes. So we've done away with all the paper in the lodge. So there are no more bird checklist, tree checklist. Please feel free to scan this. While I'm saying I'll hold on to this slide and you'll be able to download the sustainability policy, bird list, and a lot of other things, even the menu. So everything is available for the guest. And this can be done from an ordinary phone camera or a QR code. And if for some reason the guest is not able to do it, we WhatsApp them. So we've removed all the paper need in the room because disposing paper was also becoming a challenge in the jungles. So communication is again a very, very important part of our governance. So we all have to have responsible promotion, what we are talking, what we are showcasing, because we are the brand ambassadors for our heritage. So we also regularly sending out newsletters with updates about the lodges, the work we are doing. We are also running a very active blog. Happy to share that we've received several awards for the work we have done. This year, 3 of our properties got best of Traveler's Choice, which is they're ranked among the top 25 small hotels in the country. This is given by TripAdvisor, and the other 3 got the Certificate of Excellence. Also happy that all our properties are regularly doing the TOFT audit. So I would also like to add, the TOFT for us, not because Julian and Ritu are here, has actually been a catalyst for change. It has not only helped in knowledge sharing, but also encouraged to go forward, make these changes. Many times we feel, and a lot of feel, we don't need this, but it's also about supporting the cause, the greater cause. So we've also started annual cross-lodge audit, where senior managers or managers from other property can go down and cross-audit the other lodges. So a lot of time, this question is asked, why do it? You see the garbage piling up in Delhi, you see the pollution, you see the gray skies. So simply, one of the biggest reasons should be it makes economic value, because you will see a drastic reduction in power bills, lower cost of operations. We've saved, I can easily say we've actually cut down about 18 to 20% in our operation cost by moving, doing all these things. So obviously money saved is money earned. So also we are in a fragile zone, and we are the ones who have a direct financial stake in these parks. No one else has. The forest department doesn't have it. No one has it. We are the only ones who've gone to backward beyond and invested money there. So it's so much more important for us to protect this fragile zone, which is the last surviving habitat for tigers. Because if this goes, the business will definitely go. Another reason is that there is limited infrastructure to dispose these bottles, Tetra packs. There are no recycling plants. And sometimes you have to send garbage, which you don't need, to about 200, 300 kilometers away. This is the new luxury. We've all grown up seeing ads, the biggest bar in town, biggest jacuzzi in the room, 700 feet room, 1,000 feet suite. But I feel COVID was the tipping point. Luxury is for sure, it's redefined now. I'm sitting in my office looking out at gray sky. That's definitely not luxury. So blue skies, fresh food, this is the luxury here to stay. Works really well for customer. 50% of the reviews which we get online or by email, they mention about the sustainability effort. They mention that we are happy to see there is no greenwashing, that you're walking the talk, which is such a delight, while saving the environment, while making economic sense, keeping guests happy. So a few low-hanging fruits which all of us can do, including city hotels can do. We should increase our green areas, local green areas. We can actually, even hotels in cities, you have manicured lawns, you're pumping in a lot of gardens, you're pumping in water, pesticides to keep those flowers up. If we were to convert them into mini forests, they can really get a lot of benefit while saving costs. We need to be responsible for community resources, because these are not our resources. So we can all stop doing long food menus, exotics flown in, red meat coming in from different parts of the world. We don't really need, because what is local for us is exotic for a guest who's coming in. We as hoteliers can all avoid that. The governance, which actually runs both environment and social, we should all train our team, our naturalists, our managers for sustainability, from chefs to housekeeping, because that can have a major impact on it. And we must customize our approach to the region we are, because one rule does not fit all. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And a wonderful presentation. Everyone will recognize you.